What's up guys, Unseen Protagonist here to showcase you one of our Friday night local matches. You have me on the right playing Salamangreat. That's my main competitive deck right now. I've been having a lot of fun with it with control decks. And then, like, my favorite deck of all time is Kotak or Cybers. I posted a deck profile not too long ago. And on the left, you got my teammate Alex actually playing a Relinquished deck. This is the first time playing it, well, taking it to locals for a while. He likes how the cards work. He especially loves that Millennium Ice Restrict monster. That card is definitely quite the powerhouse that sometimes people tend to forget. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. So bear with us, guys. We weren't necessarily slow playing. We were what I'd say comfort playing. We were trying to play at a comfortable pace, but not stall for time. So that way we know what to do, so we can take time to analyze. And sometimes I learned throughout my Yu-Gi-Oh career, since I started back in 2017. That sometimes analyzing the field is key, and sometimes people have ways to do it. For us, Alex and I, sometimes we tend to sit down and just play at a comfortable pace so that way we know how to react, since him and I are training partners for the most part, outside of a few other valuable playtesting partners. So we'll go ahead and get started here. I think I won the die roll. We rolled 3 6-sided die, but they made me go first. So I started the duel by normal summoning Salamangreat Foxy, and I attempt to use the effect, activating the top 3 cards from the deck. And it looks like the only target I could pick was Spinny, and the other two looks like were 2 copies of Lady Debug, so I just shuffled them back in the deck, seeing that Lady Debug is not a Salamangreat card. And then, it looks like I link it off to Balinks if I remember right? Yeah, yep, think so. Yep, I link off Foxy for Balinks. And let's see, and then I was checking to see the summon was good, since I barely play against Relinquished, so sometimes I gotta say, oh shoot, does it have responses? So I usually, against unfamiliar decks, I always like to stop and ask them, is everything okay? Like summon everything. So I used Spinny's effect to search Sanctuary, Salamangreat Sanctuary, obviously, since that's like the only card Balinks can search, right? So I add it to my hand. And I activated Pot of Desire, so I banished the top 10 cards to draw 2. I think the worst thing that happened when I banished the top 10, I think at best I banished all my Parallel Exceeds and maybe 2 of my 3 Gozen matches. And Gozen match, I've been considering cutting out for extra Salamangreat cards. But no, overall that was a good pick, and I think I actually pulled one. I didn't banish any of my powerful one-ups like Gazelle and Circle or Roar. So then I activated Sanctuary, attempt to relink Balinks. Then I discard Spinny to give Balinks 500 attack points, and I attempt to activate Spinny's effect. However, Alex meets it with a DD Crow, banishing my Spinny before I can get another monster. So that was a very good play, considering the fact my hand wasn't the best, though it was usable. So then I passed over to him after I relinked Balinks, so Alex drew for turn. And the first thing he does, I believe, is I'm seeing a Lone Fire Blossom in his hand. Since Relinquished is a fusion deck, I do recall having the Prayer Plants being required there, and Lone Fire helps it. So he attempts to activate Lone Fire Blossom, the tribute's cost. He meets it with an Ash by me. So I stop the Lone Fire Blossom, so he sets 2 cards and passes. So then I draw for turn, entering the 3rd turn here. So then I normal summon Foxy again, and I attempted to use the effect, so I activate the top 3, and then this is where, my troubles got a little difficult against him. He activates Super Polymerization, so he discards a second Super Polymerization to fuse my 2 Salamangreats, thus making one of my favorite fusion monsters. Is that I got a little, we'll say, bummed out against this, because he summoned Salamangreat Violet Chimera, then Violet Chimera gains 750 attack points because I had both Balinks and Foxy, putting Violet Chimera at 3550. So it was still my turn, so of course I obviously had to make some defense against such a powerful monster like that. So I activated Will of the Salamangreat. So then I used the effect, if I remember right, to special summon the Foxy from Grave. Next, I believe what I did was that, oh yeah, I discard Spain to give the Foxy 500 attack. so he's at 1500, doesn't matter, he's in defense. And then spinning by its own effect, I can revive it since I have a non-spinny on the field. So then I link it off for a Balinx, just so I can have that extra protection against Violet Chimeras. And looking at the hand and feel that he has, it looks like that was kind of his stronghold right now. So then I linked those two off in order to link summon Sunlight Wolf. So, and this is when I did is I linked off Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf to reincarnation link summon a Sunlight Wolf. So then I said one mysterious card and passed a turn to him. So then he drew for turn. I was going to say, I think it looks like, as I was editing this, I realized that I can kind of see his hands. It looks like he had a Relinquished Fusion and Black Illusion Ritual. And then you see Alex right there kind of getting a little grumpy from getting that bad hand. So then I think he tries to go into battle against my Sunlight Wolf. Hopes of dealing damage. Then he meets it with the Salamangreat Rage. So I targeted my Relink 2 just to pop his field. The set card and Violet Chimera. So that way I have a little, like I said, I want to have a little defense against him. So then I drew for turn 5. I normal summon Ladybug. Then I attempted to use the effect to search for a level 3 or lower Cyberse type monster. So I searched for Salamangreat Gazelle, obviously, since I seem to have, I don't know how, but I seem to have like really decent luck of getting into the Gazelle super fast. Like either I hard open it or I have like 3 ways of getting into it. So then I used Will's effect to special Salamangreat Falco from the hand. Then I linked it off into Update Jammer. And then Alex just shook out his hand because he knew that I was going to go for one of my Link 4 OTKs. So that was game 1 right there. I was going to say, I guess that was kind of a little anticlimactic match. But even so, though, he cleared my field and he kind of made me think outside the box a little bit. So game 2, though, this one gets a little more exciting. So, oh yeah, and there's something cool I want to share. So if you guys are any fans of this anime, on the playmat on the right from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, let's say Alex, he loves it. I do too. I'm even wearing a jacket for it right now at the time of recording this. So yeah, we're actually trying to work on designing playmats for fun together. I'm trying to find if you guys are JoJo fans, if you guys know what I'm talking about, I'm trying to find a playmat for the part past the one he has. He has one from part 4. I'm trying to make a part 5 mat. So if you guys have any image, so side talk, if you guys have any images, you guys should send them to me because I'm trying to find one similar to the theme of Alex's mat, since I can't really seem to find anyone, so I might have to go on Photoshop and perhaps make one. Yeah, anyway, it looks like we're shuffling up. I don't think we went into side decks. I don't think Alex has a side deck, and I'm one of those people where if you don't have a side deck, I'm not going to side deck unless it's down to game 3, simply because to me that just did. In my heart, that does not seem correct at all, simply because why would I prepare for counters when he doesn't have a lot for me? So yeah, it looks like we're going to game 2. I was always kind of like the slow shuffler, so bear with me here. But yeah, no, and if you guys are interested in this Relinquished deck profile, let me know. I think I plan on posting it sometime soon, simply because it's a lot of people like all see Dragon Link, Dinosaurs, Infernoble. A lot of people haven't seen Salamangreat since seeing that they're tier 2 right now. It seems maybe Rogue. Well, of course, this format. This is my least favorite format, unfortunately. But even so, though, I mean, I love playing Salamangreat. It seems to handle itself against the meta decks, it seems. So, I think we made Alex go first here. So, entering game 2 here. Looks like he starts the duel out by normal summoning Predator Plant Orphis Scorpio. And he uses the effect to discard another Orphis Scorpio, and also special summoning another Predator Plant, which would be, what was it called? Darlatonia Cobra. However, he meets it with an Ash, since that kind of seems a way to bring out his fusions, so clearly I had to meet it with an Ash. So then he passes over, since unfortunately Relinquished is a fragile deck. So then I go for turn 2. I activate Silent Mind. I send the Foxy from hand to grave to search for Lady Debug, it looks like. This is usually kind of one of the 2-card combos to go into Access Code. Access Code is kind of like one of my go-to Link monsters. I do have a different Link for. I usually only use it if I use Pod Desires, though, that gives anything away. Say, I barely go into it, which makes it a secret weapon. So, I search for Lady Debug, and yeah, see what I mean? I already had Gazelle in my hand, so I use the effect to special summon Gazelle off Fox effect, and I use this other effect to pitch Salamangreat Rage. seeing that he was likely going to have something against me, I kind of wanted to go for the aggro play, not really the control play for Rage, or by pitching Rage. And with Gazelle's effect, or no, yeah, and then I normal summoned Foxy, and then I was thinking about using the effect, and it looks like I did. I used the effect. I added the Jack Jagger simply because he's one of the best recursion cards I got. Unfortunately, I won't be able to pitch. I don't think I'll be able to pitch it though, seeing I can only use each one of Foxy's effects per turn, which is the downside. That's why, like Foxy nowadays, I always have that debate of either doing the excavating or not. With Mirage Stallion though, I really didn't do it unless I had another Salamangreat monster to use. So I linked up Foxy into Bale Links. I used the effect, obviously, searching for the field spell, Salamangreat Sanctuary. And then, what else? You're typically going to see Salamangreat plays from me. I do like to spice it up a little bit by setting certain traps and such. I've actually been considering incorporating Gift in there, so I can get the extra draw 2, see extra hand traps. Since Dragon Link, I don't know how, but it can play through a bunch of negates. So, of course, I've seen that extra stuff, and maybe having an extra monster out, seeing that if I have Gazelle in my hand, I can pitch a Salamangreat, or I can set more traps by discard Balco. So it's a thought I've been working on. I'll have to playtest it. Tell me what you guys think. So then I activate Salamangreat Sanctuary. And then I was considering linking them off. I don't think I could have done much. And then, I linked them off for Sunlight Wolf. And then I used it to Reincarnation Link summon. Yeah, it's kind of obvious. The downside is, though, sometimes if you have a Relink Salamangreat, your plays kind of get a little exposed. That's the downside of Salamangreats, is typically you need a Link monster in order to do things. Preferably a Relinked, seeing that Rage will do the trick. And then, I tried fetching the Rage out of the graveyard by Sunlight Wolf's effect. However, once again, DD Crow has swooped in to save Alex. So then I entered battle phase, Sunlight Wolf took out the Orpher Scorpio, putting him down at 7,400 life points. Then I pass a turn to him. Now we're entering turn 3. So I think this is when he starts yanking all of the good plays out of existence with Relinquished, and he starts beating me down a little bit. So then he also an Orpher Scorpio again. I saw in his hand, though, as I was looking at editing and such, it looked like that he had two Orpher Scorpios, so it didn't matter. So he discarded the Sangan. I was to say, thank goodness for that errata, because if he didn't have, because since Sangan now has to be sent from field to grave for the effect. I say, if it didn't have that, oh man, he would have been able to do some crazy plays. So anyway, he's supposed to do Darlingtonia Cobra, excuse my tongue twisting there. So he special summoned it and attempted to use the effect. I don't think I really had any much plays at this point, so I don't have any sets. And hilariously, I don't play a lot of hand traps. I was always more of the helmet style Salamangreat, since I actually like to. I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate 2 roars again. I always had fun playing 2 roars. So I guess all we can do is see. Like, I have some ideas what to do to cut them for the extra roars. Since Gozens, I might side them, or maybe do a 2-1 main to side ratio or something. Yeah. So then I think he stays within archetype. I think he links off them for Vert Anaconda. So any fusion deck, as long as you have Vert Anaconda, you should be good. And I think he plays a Dragoon package in there too. I think he wanted to stay in theme and beat me down, my own favorite fusion. So he sets a card. And then he's all like, why must you stop me? So then he links him off into, I think he goes into Predator Plant Vert Anaconda. I think he was considering playing it, and then I think he was like looking at everything. He's all like, yeah, I probably should just go to Vert Anaconda, since he could afford the 2,000 life points, seeing that he's about to do a beat down play on me. So then I think he checks his actually see what he can do. So he activates Predator Plant Vert Anaconda's effect, pays 2,000, put him down to 5,400. So he puts Super Polymerization into the graveyard. Man, I say, Super Polymerization is something else, I gotta say, because I kind of like the card personally. It does help the people get to play it sometimes. Like a lot of players seem to have that issue of, hey, I didn't get to play, I kept losing through all my negates. Super Poly kind of helps you clear the board and make a comeback. So then he created Violet Chimera, and then I believed he would gain 1150 attack points, put him at 3950. So he entered battle phase, attacked me directly, and then this is kind of like one of those like where I got a little humiliated because I got beat down by my own favorite fusion, or one of my favorite fusions, I would say, because there's another fusion that's tied. So then I think he slaps me, putting me down to 4,050 life points. Say, yep, he put me down to 4,050, so I drew for turn. I'm like, please help me for the love of goodness. So then I activated Silent Mining on turn 4. I sent Jack Jagger from hand to graveyard. I believe I top decked the Silent Mining, so that was perfect, pitching the Jack Jagger, so I needed the recursion. Seeing that I have 2 Sunlight Bolts in my grave right now, so of course I kind of need those back. So I searched for the Foxy, seeing that Gazelle is also in my graveyard, so I was kind of in a really awkward position right now. So, yeah, so it looks like it's... So if I remember, I think Violet Chimera is back to 2,800, but I think this is when I started, like, because seeing that, looking at his hand and field again, it looks like Violet Chimera was once again the stronghold of his field, so I had to start playing a little defensively. So I normal summon the Debug, attempt to use the effect to search for a level 3 or lower Cybers monster. So I search for Spinny, so that way I can get some more recursion. I was say, man, looking at Spinny and such and like trying to revive it always makes you think of Xyz summoning Mirage Stalio. Unfortunately, that card's banned, so if Konami, if you're hearing this, please bring it back. It's one of my favorite Xyz. But anyway, I do see why they banned it. So, oh, and then wrong play here. I mean, like, we caught this on time, but I guess for some reason I got the effects confused. For Spinny, if I have a Salamangreat card, I can discard it, and I guess I thought the same thing for the revival effect. But I need to have a monster, so that was a whole brain fart on my part. So then I linked it off into Bailings. And then I used Spinny's effect, if I remember right, to revive it. Yep. And then I used Jagger's effect to shuffle Sunlight Wolf back. To special summon Jack Jagger underneath Bailings' arrow. And then I linked them off. Spinny is banished by its own effect. Suddenly summoned to Update Jammer. I'm sure you guys all see this coming. Then Alex was like, oh heck no, we are not doing this. He activated another Super Poly. And this is when I'm like, dude, come on, man. Where he fusion summoned again into another Salamangreat Violet Chimera. And that Violet Chimera would gain 1,250 attack points, if I remember right. Yep, 1,250. Put him at 4,050. And I used Foxy's effect in Grave, discard Spinny to special summon it, and then I chose not to destroy Sanctuary, obviously, and then I passed. So then it looks like he was kind of at the phase where like I should be able to push him in inner battle phase. So then he sent out Fox. I shield with Bailings. I was looking back at this match. I was considering whether if that was a smart play or not, and then to me, I thought that was smart simply because I didn't really have a good hand. I was looking down at 2 2,000 attack point monsters with like 1 card in hand while entering 2 cards. So I thought if I like shielded my life points as long as I could, I should be able to take a little more hit. So then I entered the 6th turn. I used Fox effect, discard another Foxy to revive it. Obviously not destroying Sanctuary. Spinny's effect will revive, do its own effect. Linked it off, seeing that. Unfortunately, Spinny has to be banished now. That's why Mirage Stalio was so busted. So I linked it off into Bailings. And then I attempted to use Jack Jagger's effect again. I think I put another Sunlight Wolf back just so I can keep the control plays in effect. And then Alex right there said, "You can't beat me. I'm using 2 copies of one of your favorite fusions. You can't beat me. I will destroy you." So then I was like, "We'll see about that." And I linked it off into Salamangreat. I special summoned Salamangreat Jack Jagger underneath the arrow. And then he's like, "Oh, you can't play Update Jammer again." I'm like, "Okay, yeah. Well, technically I can." So then I linked it off. I linked all 3 off for Transcode Talker. And then I used Transcode Talker's effect to revive Update Jammer. And then, yeah, then this is where like the place happened. He's like, "Dang it!" And then I linked 4 into, you know what, Access Code Talker. I know a lot of people that think this card's busted. I do agree, it is busted. At least, though, it helps the rogue players keep up with the metas, seeing that access code cannot be responded to. So I banished Transcode Talker from the graveyard to pop it, and then Update Jammer to pop both the Chimeras, and then access code was at 53. He could attack twice. I attacked for 53, put him at 100, and then we shook hands for him putting him at game 2. So that was it. So